Boom. Particular mushroom.
Hello everyone, this is Particular Mushroom, and I know this video is out of nowhere, but I recently started tinkering around with Froglord, the modding suite for Frogger He's Back, one of my childhood favorite games, and I have created one of, if not the, first ever custom, from scratch, modded levels, so I figured I might as well show it off. And there's a lot more I could say, but for the folks that are just here to see what this level's all about, I'm going to go ahead and hop right in, and then maybe afterwards we'll do additional discussion and commentary on the editing process, whatever. So if you know anything about my philosophy for making mods, I like to take the core essence of what the original game was going for and just make it better, add more into it, inject more life into some of the things that I felt weren't as fully fleshed out in the original release. And so I actually don't have a different name for this level. It's still Scorching Switches, but I took the ideas distilled in that level and tried to expand it. Because one thing about this level in the original game is it's very small and short, and I felt like there was just so much more you could do with it. So I would like to turn this into a full-scale mod at some point, and my philosophy with the mod as a whole is to open things up. The original game is very open-ended in that you can collect the 5 frogs you need to beat the level in any order you choose, but very often the levels will siphon down into 1 or maybe 2 linear passageways, so even though you can grab the frogs in whatever order you want, you may still have to run through the same exact obstacles for 2, 3, or even all 5 frogs, and it gets a little bit repetitive. And so my first thought when designing a level from scratch is, hey, let's have a unique path for each of the 5 frogs. And when I started narrowing down the design a little bit, I ended up putting this switch here, which turns on this platform that you actually can't hop onto because it doesn't go all the way over here. And so we ended up narrowing down to 4 paths to start out with. But they're all kind of interconnected at the beginning. So if I went bottom left first, I would go down here and see that this platform isn't moving. I need to find the button to turn it on. And so you have to go back and you can go up and you can press some of these buttons over here and go back to the main platform, and you can kind of run around and figure out, okay, where do I want to go first? What is the first passage we're going to take? And the first one I want to show off is the first one I ever designed. Now, the flagship mechanic for Scorching Switches are these cog platforms that I'm on right now. And so when I was thinking about how could I make Scorching Switches but better, the first thought I had was, let's do one, but with 2 layers. Look at this thing. This thing's crazy. And it's so cool. This is such a cool idea. And then I put the button in the middle. Have to put the button in the middle because otherwise why would you go to the middle? You would just hang around the outskirts here and jump over here. So you got to put a button in the middle, and I'm going to run out of time. Wait. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Alright, so let's try that again. We will go straight towards the blue frog this time. And now if you're really good, you don't have to hit that button again. You can just platform right onto that platform. And then, yeah, so see, if you just wanted to get to the other side, there was no need to go to the middle. And so that's why I had to add a button there, so that you make your way in and then make your way back out. It's a little dizzying. But this one's actually relatively safe. It's actually very hard to fall in the lava there on that one. But then when you come up to this one, now the inner and outer ring are going in opposite directions. And so you have to actually think a little bit about where you're jumping, or otherwise you might be in trouble. Oh, that was close, but we got it. And I'm gonna grab this, and then that's basically the blue frog, but I added, as a last little thing, I added the super fast spinny one. You have to time your jump at the end there. In the original Scorching Switches, both the blue frog and the red frog are in the back corner with some really fast spinning platforms, so I thought I'd sort of make that a little successor there. Where do we go next? Let's go for the red frog, and the reason why is actually a little bit more practical. Frog Lord is still in progress, and so I have noticed that this level crashes occasionally, and it tends to crash on the red frog. So I want to get that out of the way so that we don't crash. Alright, so now you might get here and be thinking, how the heck do I get up to that platform? It's high up there and I'm facing the wrong direction. Well, the hint is this little pillar here. Boom, switch direction, and then hop up there. Kind of neat, right? I like that one. That's cool. And then we have another super hop section, and then one more for good measure. Try to do this little angle here so that you would know you have to actually super hop to get up there. You can't just regular hop. Because if it was straight down, you might think that you don't have to super hop and then you would just jump to your death. All right, and then finally, we're gonna end with this little free fall segment. You gotta time that as well. Boom. Oh, I'm bad. All right, here we're back. And so I lined it up so all you have to do is jump as soon as it changes direction. Boom, there you go. That's your little visual cue. And then as one last little bonus, I put that life in the corner. You have to be patient, and I pressed the wrong button again. You have to be patient and wait for the platform to go all the way over if you actually want that one up there, which I pressed the wrong button. I'm playing on the controller because it's less noisy, but I can't remap the buttons. That's old games for you. How about we go for the green frog next? That one's a fun one. So you have to press that button, and then you go all the way up here, hop on this platform, and then you can go over here. Now, if you were really cool, or just trying to play it safe, you could have pressed the button again to stop this platform moving, but since I didn't, I gotta try and time it a bit. There we go. I got the skills. All right, grab this little plug. And now this is fun. So yes, you can have buttons move multiple platforms at the same time. And I almost died there again. Commentating and playing is a lot harder than it looks. And then here, now these platforms go super fast, but you can stop them all individually, and so you can line this up so that you can get to the green frog. Is very fun. And now one thing though you can do, as you can probably see in the corner there of the screen, is if you do jump on this platform though, there are a couple of goodies on the edge you can grab. Isn't that fun? Woohoo! We got them. That's a really cool one. I like it. All right, let's go purple next. So purple is also over here on the right. Made it so there was one section where you do have to do a little bit of it more than once, but just a little bit. And that's partly because also the purple frog is kind of the hide and seek frog. It's really hard to figure. It's one of the more difficult ones just to figure out where it is. And so this section here, this is kind of just to throw you off, but there's a 10 plus time over here, so you're not like completely messed up for going that way. And so what you have to do is you can see that there's that platform on the right there going off into the distance, and you kind of have to figure out, oh, that's where I want to go. But then these two platforms don't really line up very easily. And so what ideally you do is hit the button again to turn it off, and now those two platforms are synced up with that one in the middle. Now you don't have to do that. If you're cool, you can do it without turning it off. And I'm sure if speedrunners ever get a hold of this mod, that's what they'll do. But you know, for the people who like pressing switches, there you go. And then I have this fun little section, and then finally a platform that goes up and down to the lava. This is just like a gag more than anything else. It's not really that difficult, but it's fun to put little ideas in there. That's what modding's for, right? This never happened in the original game, so let's mod it. Now this platform is a little tricky. It's like, where is the button for this? It's actually all the way up here. And I did that to just be a little sneaky. Let's have one switch that triggers a remote platform, but I didn't want to make it too remote, you know? So I think it's a good balance. And then we come all the way over here, and then this is a really cool section. I really like this, probably why I saved it for last. You got these little gears. See, normally they're stuck on those little platforms, but here they're open air. And so if you were to actually touch one of those, bye-bye. And then these platforms, they're actually tall enough and have a hitbox on the side of them. So I was like, let's make them an obstacle down here, but then when you get up this height, you can ride them, and then you just mosey on over, to the final frog. That is probably my favorite section in this level, although the double layer spinny platform is definitely the coolest thing I added. That's just like straight up freaking awesome. So yeah, that's the level. As you can see, it's way bigger than the original Scorching Switches. So yeah, it takes a lot of the props from Scorching Switches and then just like ups the ante. And I'm very happy with this level. It might be my best one for a long time. Let's see, what else can we talk about? So maybe I'll show this. I have a little sketchbook that I used to sketch out the initial structure. The starting area looks very similar to my initial sketch. And then I sketched Blue Frog, because again, that was the first one. And then I started sketching the purple-green frog area. And eventually I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And put down my sketchbook and I finished it. I did have, though, the super hop thing written down here. I also had the open air gears. I don't know what else to call that. And I did list the themes. So the frog themes for this level were spinny, button maze, platform skill, death traps, and super jumps. And I think I did that pretty well, I would say. See in the comments if you can match those up to the frogs. So I have done some other levels, and not all the levels in the mod will be complete overhauls, but I do think at this point I will be editing geometry in basically every stage. The only stage that I will likely not is Dark Cavern, and it was already kind of an open level with not a lot in it anyway, so I didn't really have to change the geometry too much to make it interesting. The one zone I have no idea what I'm doing is Retro Zone, because, well, it's just a bunch of cars and then a river and then frogs. I'll probably rework those entirely. Maybe have like one regular retro level. I'm not sure. If you got any ideas, let me know. But I guess that's the thing, is once I can edit the geometry, anything's possible. I do not need to stick to the general design of Retro Zone. The one thing you have to stick with when you're modding this game is the textures. Textures have to stay the same, and you can change them, but it changes for the entire zone. And going back to my whole philosophy with mods, it's definitely a little extra that I'm editing the geometry, but the whole idea is to use the existing resources so I don't have to build everything from scratch. So I probably won't be changing too many textures, maybe a couple here and there, we'll see. Oh yes, and so I want to mention that if you're doing this yourself, it's totally possible, but it is a little finicky. The editor is up and coming. There's a bunch of really cool features on their way, but they're not quite there yet. And so in order to make this level, I had to use version 0.5.0 of Frog Lord, and not everything worked out of the box. I had to make a couple of tweaks to the code. So my personal recommendation would be to wait for the next version of the editor. I will put a link to the Highway Frogs Discord server in the description of this video, so if you want to keep tabs on the editor's progress or say hi to the community. Finally, some particular mushroom stuff. The main channel, I'm keeping on the down low for now. I don't want to hype up anything that is not going to happen for whatever reason. But for the extras channel, I'm looking into 5 to 10 minute videos that I can maybe do every once in a while regarding Frogger. Let me know if you like this video, whether you would like to see my progress on the other stages, and if maybe you would want a more behind the scenes look at how a stage like this gets made. In any case, thanks for watching this video, and let me know what you think of Scorching Switches. It is kind of lame to not have a name for this level. Scorching Switches 2.0.